Of course you can't hear me because I had muted the microphone. Now can you hear me? Yay! Uh, Aquafire, thank you for the follow. Moscow, I know you followed a little earlier. Thank you for that. Kiss and hugs, I know you followed yesterday, I think it was. Thank you for that follow. All of the Twitch niceties. Why does your keyboard always act up, Kiss and hugs? Oh, also, we're still in emote only chat. Let me get that fixed right away. Hold on. Thank you for that, Kiss and hugs. You're the best. Hey, Moscow. All right, so I think everybody in chat knows who I am, but for the benefit of posterity, I am Scrupper, and we're going to play some games. I grew up on classic point-and-click adventure games, mostly from Sierra Online and LucasArts, and I wanted to play some with you. We're going to start with Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers. Personal favorite. Hi, Aqua. Good to have you in chat. It's actually a little weird to be on the other side of all this, where I'm reading your chat and you can see and hear me. That's freaking me out a little. But I'll be okay. I hope. Can you guys hear game audio? Alright. So we will need to fix that then. Alright. How about now? Can you hear the game audio? Excellent. I know how to hit buttons. And how is my voice compared to game audio? Turn the game down, Kiss and Hugs. Okay. Alright. How's that? Okay. Cool. So, this is actually one of my favorite adventure games. This came out when I was in high school. And I had been a big fan of Sierra Online adventure games I knew that this was a Voodoo game, and Voodoo didn't really interest me all that much. But it was a Sierra game, so I figured I'd give it a try. And it just had such a rich story and great characters that I absolutely fell in love with it. Uh, we'll see how the audio is once we actually get in game. So let's start with the intro. It's okay, Kiss and Hugs. We'll still be here when you get back. Uh, Appreciate the lurk, Moscow.
Mm-hmm. I bet. Just a minute. It lives, I see. Do you want to speak with Lolita? I'm sorry, but Gabriel is allowed. Oh, I mean, he's out. Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'll tell him. You know, you could do better. I know I don't know you, but you could do better. Sure. Bye-bye. Good morning. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. Let me know when you want your messages.
Yeah,
Gee, you're lively. Did you have another nightmare last night?
sort of.
Mm-hmm. I told you it's that voodoo book you're researching. That stuff can seriously screw up your karma.
I'm sure that's it. Maybe I should write a horror novel on passive resistance instead.
So don't sleep.
Okay.
It's your
I'll turn
prerogative.
the audio on the game
Anyway,
up
your handheld tape recorder came
uh,
today.
as soon as I
Really?
can
Great.
manipulate things.
I can't wait to see what human rights you violate with this one.
I can't wait to violate them. For example, if you would just let me...
And I located some local voodoo references for you. Dixieland Drugstore and the Historical Museum of Voodoo. Both are right here in French Quarter.
How would I ever manage without you?
You? Give me a break. The devil himself couldn't change you.
Well, if the devil had great legs, perhaps, like yours.
And a riveting personality, I'm sure. Well, if you need any more research done, just ask. It's not as though we're swamped with customers.
Alright, so let's do one or two things. Let's up the game audio. Not what I wanted. That's still not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Now when you say you can see everything I'm doing, that's like, yeah, you can see my whole desktop, yes. Absolutely, that's because the game is minimized and I can't do game capture on this particular game. Yep, that's gonna be a thing because, like I said, I can't do game capture because of the age of the game. Yep. I made sure there's no sensitive information actually anywhere on this PC, so I should be alright. And I was actually going to go into Ben's Discord and post a link, but I see that Kiss and Hugs already took care of it. Thank you, Kiss and Hugs. Alright. So let's tweak the game audio again. And here we go. Alright, so this is a point-and-click adventure game. One of the things I absolutely love to do is read the morning paper.
Today's newspaper is on the counter. Times-Picayune, dated June 18, 1993. The front page has an article about the voodoo murders. The article says that the victims are all identified as members of the underworld. The general public of New Orleans is in no danger. Police claim the so-called voodoo trappings found at the crime scenes are fake, a scare tactic, and that the murders are not associated with any genuine practitioners. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Potential storms ahead. Proceed with caution and do not get involved with anything new at this time.
Right.
How is the game audio now? Can you hear the wonderful Tim Curry?
The magnifying glass is a handy item for reading old manuscripts or the fine print on Gabriel's lease.
Oh, and yes, I am absolutely drinking out of my static cling mug because why wouldn't I be?
There's a pair of tweezers on the counter. Grace uses them for book repair work. The books on the table have been chosen for their special appeal. Recent fiction by the biggies. In other words, nothing written by Gabriel.
Mind if I borrow the magnifying glass?
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
No problem. I'm gonna take the tweezers for a bit.
Good. You're beginning to look a little scruffy.
Just trying to make you feel at home.
Alright, so... Orcswag! Welcome to the party!
So, what's new, Grace?
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to be bound by rules.
The strap marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
Alright, so one thing that this game has is a very in-depth conversation system. Gabriel just received a new tape recorder that he uses it to do interviews with people to research his book. And there's a nice little dialogue
Got a
system
minute,
for that.
Grace?
What's up?
And so, one of the things you can ask every single character is...
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
And you might be able to see in this close-up scene why last week or the week before, this game actually came up in Ben's stream with somebody saying that Ben would make a great live action Gabriel Knight. And I have to say I agree. I believe someone even asked him to say, "What can you tell me about voodoo?" And he did it pretty spot on.
Do you know anything else about voodoo?
I've told you all I know. Sorry I can't be more help.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Just what I read in the paper, same as you.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Well, I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible here.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
You're the native, don't ask me.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
Yeah, right, Knight.
I mean it.
What do you want to know?
How come we haven't gone out yet?
I'm still waiting around for that lobotomy. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well, it's not exactly a huge intellectual challenge. Although the math in your record books could confuse Einstein. Still, I love old books, and it's a nice way to pay the bills while I explore the city for a summer. If you ever pay me, that is.
What do you do after work?
Well, I either go to my oil painting class or my Tai Chi. You know that.
You know, you can go overboard with this improving yourself stuff. You don't want to alienate us mere mortals.
I suppose I should just allow my mind and body to atrophy.
Works for me. How old are you?
Old enough to know about men like you.
I like Grace a lot.
Just tell me anything at all.
I just got my master's in history and classics. My folks wanted me to go on right away for my PhD, but 18 years of school was enough. I needed a break.
Just tell me anything at all.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've always wanted to do something really adventurous, Something real life. I'm sick of libraries and lecture halls.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks are traditional Japanese. I don't even remember Japan myself. I was 3 when we came to the States.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've been studying Tai Chi for 10 years. It's a very spiritual discipline. I'm sure discipline of any sort isn't something that would appeal to you, Gabriel.
Yeah, Orc, I'm actually giving some thought of playing Full Throttle at some point on stream, because there's a lot of classic Sierra and LucasArts games that I want to play. I think if I start doing LucasArts stuff, I will probably start with Sam & Max Hit the Road, because that game was absolutely hilarious when I played it back in the day, and I hope it's just as hilarious now.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks want me to get married to a boy back east, Mark Kobayashi. His parents are traditional Japanese too. I might eventually, but right now...
Just tell me anything at all.
I've always wanted to do something really...
Alright, so one of the things I really like about this game is that they put a lot of depth into the characters. As we can see, that was a lot of history on Grace. Hi 3, welcome. Welcome to the fun. I think we're having fun.
Yes, never mind.
Suit yourself.
Do you have messages for me?
Dana called, and Susie left a message about a lawsuit.
Awesome.
Okie dokie. There's more when you want 'em.
I don't think so, Kiss. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I think actually it might be. Are you my friend? I, 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 I knew you'd be coming. I didn't actually ask you what your screen name was. Yes, everything makes sense now. Welcome to the stream, 3. I am very glad to have you here. Tonks! Hey, Tonks! And now I have sounded more excited about Tonks coming in here than my longtime best friend, and that doesn't seem right. So, 3! Good to have you here too, 3.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your grandmother called.
I keep meaning to get over there. What did she say? Did she sound good?
She sounded great, and we had a nice little chat about you.
Grace.
Don't worry. I didn't go into detail about your cardinal sins. Not that anything about you could surprise her. She adores you anyway.
She's my girl.
But she said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have more messages for me?
Here's a strange one. You got a call from someone named Wolfgang Ritter? He said he was calling from Germany. He told me it was urgent, maybe you should give him a call.
Call Germany, like hell. If it's really important, he'll call back.
Well, fine. Let's just hope he's not with the German lottery for pitiful American authors.
Yeah. Have you, has Static set up a time for that, You Laugh, You Lose challenge?
Do you have more messages for me?
Your friend Detective Mosley called. Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with you. What do you want?
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother's maiden name is Humphrey. Oh, that's Humprey.
Fascinating.
And that he left some photos for you at the station, at the front desk.
It's about time.
Gabriel, those photos wouldn't have anything to do with the voodoo murders, would they?
Now, why would you say something like that?
Because I know you. You're getting privileged information, aren't you? Did you tell him you'd put him in your new voodoo book?
A writer has certain obligation to his readers, you know.
Gabriel, you know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character is a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male pit bull with a really big...
That's enough. Thanks. Anyway, that's all the messages. Thank God.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure. What?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
So that is the conversation system in Gabriel Knight that I like very much.
Cute gargoyle, eh? 3 snakes in a skull. Gabriel's father painted it.
What a wacky offbeat kind of guy Daddy was.
I'm glad you like this game, Kiss and Hugs. It's one of my
Grace keeps
all-time
her art
favorites.
supplies here.
Don't mind if I do.
Do what?
Oh, nothing.
Gabriel has a very certain sense of humor to him.
That shelf holds used copies of the Dime Strife series, secrets of unsolved ancient UFO mysteries and such. They just leap out the door.
Yeah, Orc, that sounds about right. That would be about when I played it too. I don't remember the exact year it came out, but that is the right time frame.
That shelf holds. They just leap out the door. The top shelf contains a set of German books that once belonged to Gabriel's grandfather. The top shelf contained books on animals, including snakes and other reptiles. That shelf contains historical references, biographies of kings and queens, that sort of thing. That shelf. Under the window are reference books, dictionaries, foreign language dictionaries, quotation books, and others. Gabriel borrows them often when he's writing. Under the window. Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Let's see, Mittag means midday, noon.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Spiel means game. Interesting.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Himmel means heaven. Uh-huh.
It's good to just learn some German.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Dry means 3.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Besessen means possessed. That's handy to know.
Gabriel leafs through a German-English dictionary.
Drachen means dragons. I wonder if Mosley would know he was being insulted if I called him Drachenbreath.
Had to get to the Drachenbreath joke. There's a lot of really funny stuff that's buried, and you just have to keep digging for it.
If you try to look down my shirt one more time, I'm leaving.
Hell, just trying to refresh my memory.
I know what you're trying to refresh, and it isn't your memory. Get down.
And there is a lot of humor like that. Alright, that. Okay. We'll adjust that a little later. This is Gabriel's bedroom. It's a very tidy place, as you can tell. I want to just up Gabriel's speed a little bit.
The medicine cabinet contains a few old prescriptions, personal hygiene stuff, and lots of hair products, including some hair gel.
I think I might want some hair gel.
I'll take this hair gel. You never know when you'll need a touch-up.
Gabriel's bedroom is also his office, studio, and library.
That is hair gel. That is absolutely hair gel. I'm not hearing anything else
A
about
little
it.
cold bubbly and brie cheese is about all Gabriel's fridge ever has in it. Bills from last Christmas gather dust on the door.
Gabriel, shut the refrigerator, please. I could smell it from here.
Women.
The dresser holds a meager supply of underwear and 38 pairs of mismatched socks.
Nico! Hey, Nico! Nico, I have to apologize up front. Obviously, I can't do bits yet, so I don't have any sound alerts, so there's no ooh-woo. I figure that as long as he's got 38 socks, at least 2 of them have to actually match or look similar enough. I appreciate your forbearance, Nico. I think that's about all I want to look at in the bedroom. And the shop's pretty good. I've got some places I know I want to go. One other thing about the conversation system is that he does record it all so that if I need to reference anything, I can replay all of the important dialogue, which is neat. Alright, so I'm gonna head out.
I'll be back later.
See ya.
Oh yes, Nico and Tonks, I don't know if you were here for this. It's important for you guys to know that yes, I am drinking tea in my static cling mug. Where do I want to go? I think I want to go to Grandma's first. Go see Grandma.
glad you stopped by.
Sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss. Now come and sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
How you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
On the wall are portraits of Gran and Gramps when they were young. Gabriel's inherited some good-looking genes. Granny likes soft lighting. That clock has been in the Wright family, Granny's family, for centuries.
One thing I like doing in these games is just
The wood
clicking
in the bin
everywhere
is southern pine,
and just
it's
seeing what
probably
the
fossilized
developers
by now.
put in for us to find.
Grandmother Knight rarely uses the fireplace these days. Too much of a hassle to clean.
It really makes the games feel like a full world.
Granny's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow.
And now let's interrogate Grandma.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
It's fun to ask Gran about voodoo.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to.
No,
I sometimes wonder what
Gabriel's
this world is
granny
coming to.
is the best. She's the best person in the game.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though, not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
My goodness, boy. You've lived here all your life just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Oh, surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden? I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Oh, he doesn't need to ask Grandma about those stains in the chicken entrails. He's the one who did that, so he already knows about them.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma, and at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone annex, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off. I swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran. Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 20.
All right.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him it didn't matter to me. But he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Kiss, especially like right now, Gabriel's finally asking his grandmother about her entire life, today of all days.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me something about Granddad.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were 2 peas in a pod.
And I heard that his father was a navigator on a spice freighter.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel, and your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school, but Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the 3 of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him,
I don't know.
something more
I don't know Kiss
cheerful,
and Hugs.
like a
I don't know
landscaper,
any
too.
lawyers at all.
But he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my father.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
I know Kiss and Hugs. I know one or two lawyers that seem to be decent, sort of.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery number 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great-aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Cassie is pretty great. I mean, there's no way around that. Cassie is legend.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Tell me about my mother.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some, and I'll whip up half a dozen.
Right, so now it's time to go upstairs.
To use the stairs, Gabriel has only to walk on them.
Oh, I want to operate the stairs. Let me operate the stairs.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
My favorite Christmas lights.
Gabriel has seen these ornaments every year at Christmas for as long as he can remember. It's a lady's hat from the 1920s.
From Gran's Virginia Woolf period. That must have been the year Granddaddy caught Santa on the roof.
These old picture frames have been up here for years. The brass bed frame is from God knows where. That box of knickknacks has been up there for at least 5 years.
Is there anything in the box?
There's nothing I want in there.
Apparently not.
An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin, is among the discarded treasures of the attic. It doesn't seem to be running at the moment.
Alright. I realized there was one other thing I wanted to do at the bookshop. I'm gonna have to go back and do it. For now, I'll just get the clock out of my way so that I can open the treasure chest. That hopefully is not a mimic.
The trunk contains some old clothes, including a pair of leather shorts,
Aren't those called lederhosen?
serious hiking boots, more of Harrison Knight German book,
Just what I need.
and a bundle of letters. Love letters between Harrison and Rebecca.
I don't think there's anything in that trunk that would interest anybody but my Gran. I don't think there's anything in that trunk that would interest anybody but my Gran.
Alright, so... I think I'm gonna leave Gran's for a second.
Well,
back to the
Gran, I
bookshop.
better get going.
All right, dear.
because now that I know Granddad was a poet, I'm gonna go look at some books.
Lucy, I'm home.
I wish you wouldn't wear that coat outside in June. I could smell you from here.
Gabriel selects a volume of German poetry that he always found strangely compelling.
Drei Drachen. Drei Drachen kriechen in meinen Schlaf. Die Ziele wollen sie lebendig zum Fraß. Feurigen Atems, gespaltener Zunge, genießen sie jedes Mal.
That's nice. Kinda creepy, though. Who's the author?
Heinz Ritter. I'm not sure what it says, but I get the feeling the guy was one sick puppy.
Yep. Very nice poem. I don't speak German, though. And now I'm gonna go back to Grands.
See you later.
Have fun.
Gabriel, come in.
Actually, Kiss,
Hi, Gran.
already decoded the important
Make
part,
yourself at
which
home, son.
you called was the three dragons.
I'm going up the attic again.
Enjoy yourself, dear.
It was just very important for me, for story reasons, to read the poem before I looked at the clock.
An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin, is among the discarded treasures of the attic. It doesn't seem to be running at the moment. Gabriel doesn't want to take the clock.
But I kind of do. I guess I want to operate the clock. Alright, so these symbols are kind of hard to see.
A ring of 6 symbols surround the face of the clock. A sword, a sun, an angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon.
So I'm supposed to be able to tell that that is a dragon.
A ring of the ring of symbols does not appear to have any mechanical function, but it does move.
Okay. Yeah. Dragon. Ah. Let go. Let go. And 3 o'clock. 3 dragons.
Nothing happens.
Oh, I don't know how to tell time anymore. That was 12:15. That's 3 o'clock.
Granddaddy, you old fox.
Yes.
Gabriel doesn't want to take the clock.
I wanted to close the drawer, thank you. Alright, let's look in my inventory now.
The old photographs show Gabriel's grandfather with 2 other men that Gabriel has not identified.
Thanks, Kiss.
The letter is addressed to Heinz Ritter, whoever that is.
That is the author of the poem. What a coincidence.
The letter is written in German, but Gabriel determines what he can about it. It was sent from a place called Schloss Ritter. in Rittersburg, West Germany. The letter is addressed to mein Sohn Heinz and signed Wilhelm Ritter. One of the recurring words strewn throughout the letter is the word Schattenjäger. The only thing that Gabriel can decipher about the letter is a sense of urgency in the handwriting and in the heavy use of quill-tip bold strokes and underlining.
So, when I played this game initially, I spent days wondering what Schattenjäger meant. And eventually I found out. It becomes a question you can ask everybody, and almost nobody knows what it is. Yes, it is a something hunter. That's actually quite literally. That's probably better than what it actually means. I like to think of a something hunter, because not all of them were in Shadows. Let's talk to Gran again.
That's it. Take a load off, hun.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Have you ever heard of a Schattenjäger?
Schattenjäger? Schattenjäger. How odd, Gabriel. I haven't heard that word in years. My goodness, you've given me a chill. Your granddad used to say that sometimes in his sleep.
Really? Do you know what it means?
No, I'm afraid not. I asked him about it once. I don't think he answered me. Odd.
Thanks, Gran.
Yes, Nico. Gabriel will actually go through the game asking a bunch of people if they know what Schattenjäger means until he finds the one person who tells him that yes, that is Shadowhunter.
Tell me something.
Your granddad...
Alright, so... Oh, I know what I can do. I can show her the picture.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
That one in the middle is your grandfather. Those other two I don't know.
And maybe show her the letter.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
No, dear. I'm afraid I don't speak a word of German.
I do remember that. Kiss and hugs. Alright, so we've got what we
Well,
need from
Gran,
Gran.
I better get going.
All right, dear.
And I actually do think I missed something in the bookshop, so I'm going to go back to the bookshop.
Lucy, I'm home.
The excitement of seeing you is killing me.
Wishful Gabe.
Hey, kids.
Bruno, how nice.
Gee, a customer.
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see.
Rare books.
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here. Are you going to sell me that wonderful painting of yours today?
I don't actually know.
Gee, is today the day that hell freezes over?
One needn't be rude.
Don't know who voiced Bruno. I wonder if I can find out. And also, I know I'm missing something. Just don't remember where to... Oh. A couple of things I'm missing. Need that.
There's a flashlight on the dresser. This building's wiring leaves a lot to be desired. Gabriel's desk has been gathering dust since his last novel.
I might need a flashlight. All my clothes look the same, so why change them? All my clothes...
Gabriel might as well leave that here.
There's something I know I need, but I don't remember where it is. Oh well, I will find what I'm looking for later.
I'll be back later.
Uh-huh.
Let's go to the Voodoo Museum.
Hi. Look around all you want.
Okay, thanks.
A street drummer has settled outside the museum. A wooden doll with horns is on the back table.
Looks like Jack Nicholson.
The historical Voodoo Museum is brimming with items authentic and original. An official voodoo wish and stump. Rabbit and make a wish, a card says.
Funny, I say the same thing to women.
On the table is a small coffin. So small, in fact, that it would only fit an infant.
Charming. Reminds me of a book critic for the New York Times. He's got more hair than Mosley.
Large, elaborate drums occupy a corner of the museum. She looks thrilled to be here. A striking portrait of a turbaned woman is on the back wall. Gabriel wonders who she might be. A very large, very formidable-looking snake is secured in a plexiglass cage.
So, how's the museum business?
I don't know. I don't normally work here.
Could I ask you a few questions?
I wouldn't be much help. You should talk to Dr. John, the owner. He'll be back tomorrow.
I see. Thank you.
I like to make the pointless visit to the museum because it establishes that it's a museum.
What does this switch do?
Hey, turn that off.
Mean it.
Dr. John told me never turn on that fan.
I can see why.
Alright. Voodoo Museum.
I'll be gone now, thanks.
So long.
Where to now? Drugstore. Drugstore is a good place to go.
Hi.
Okay, Kiss.
Uh-huh.
The mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head. It's nearly as old as the one at Saint George's. The sign says, Special Saint Jean Eve, Lagnappe, free bottle of lover come back to me oil, or master gambling oil, with every purchase over $50.
Lagniappe. My French is lousy, but everyone in New Orleans knows what that means. A little something extra.
The glass jars contain a number of things Gabriel can't identify.
And wouldn't want to.
The poster reads, "Power will be yours when you use Papa Legba's power drawing incense and Master Power oil. Buy some today." The entire shelf is stocked with containers of High John the Conqueror root powder.
Hi there. Is this your store?
This is a Dixieland drugstore, and I own it, me. Name's Walker, Willie Walker.
Let's find out what Willie Walker knows about voodoo.
Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Ask what you want, I'll answer what I want.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
Do you think I'm stupid? This is a voodoo shop. Look at all this stuff.
These are novelties, curiosities. If people want to think they're magic, it's not my concern, you know.
Are you telling me that you own a voodoo shop, but you know nothing about voodoo practices?
Affaire n'est pas affaire blanche.
What does that mean?
Means you should mind your own business, monsieur.
I like how
Look, I'm
upfront he
researching
is with
voodoo
us.
for a book.
I don't have your answers, B. Do you want to buy something, monsieur?
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Cabri Sancour.
What did you say?
Nothing. Those killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
another important clue that Gabriel spends a fair amount of time
What
trying
do you
to
know
figure out
about
what it means.
the voodoo murders?
Monsieur, that has nothing to do with my shop.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I've lived here all my life, me.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I'm a busy man, monsieur. I don't get out of my neighborhood much.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
It's the biggest night of the year in voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
I couldn't say.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
I've said all I'm going to say about it.
What did you mean when you said Cabri sans corps?
I didn't say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong, monsieur. I said no such thing.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Man, I don't even know what language that is.
Tell me about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
Oh, come on, I believe him, Aqua. He's just a local businessman. He's just a local businessman minding his own local business.
Tell me about yourself.
How did you get into this kind of business?
Why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Tell me about yourself.
How did you get into this kind of business?
Why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Yeah, there is a fair bit of that. He definitely is uncommunicative with outsiders. I think that's about all I can do at the voodoo shop because Gabriel never has any money. Yes. Very clean counter, no doubt. Let's go to Jackson Square Overlook. Just 'cause it's fun to look. What I really need to do is save the game just in case something crashes. I normally do not go that long without saving a Sierra game.
4 pairs of binoculars are rigorously mounted on the cement floor.
Yes, especially an older game that might not be particularly stable. I would hate to have to start all over again. It's a good thing that these are not coin operated, because otherwise Gabriel would not be able to afford them. I just like to come here and look at the people. Oh, it's a mime. Mimes are fun. Actually, need to step away for a second. I will be right back, guys. I am back. It was a very fascinating riot. Yes, I should have left the chair up, but I can't do chair bits yet. Next time. And yes, we should have all have run amok. And then I realized I need to go back to Grandma's yet again. It has been ages since I've played this game, and I forgot how to do a lot of things.
Gabriel, come in.
Hi, Gran.
Make yourself at home, son.
That is a very good point, Moscow. I should definitely incorporate a chair into that image. And I want to go up the stairs.
I'm going up the attic again.
Enjoy yourself, dear.
I overlooked this
There's a
right here.
sketchbook on the chair that Gabriel vaguely remembers as his father's.
I think I'll take Daddy's sketchbook with me.
Sketchbook is fun.
Gabriel looks fondly at his father's sketchbook and charcoal pencil. Images haunt the pages of Philip Knight's sketchbook, the way they must have haunted his mind. The images touch a deep chord in Gabriel. So familiar are they that he finds it hard to believe they aren't from his own subconscious.
Yeah, so Gabriel's father had a lot of issues too. Back down here. Then I want to ask Grandma one more thing.
That's it. Take a load off, hon.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Forgot to ask about...
Do you know anyone named Heinz Ritter?
Heinz Ritter? Oh, Gabriel. Where did you hear that name?
I found a letter in Granddaddy's clock.
I promised I'd never tell you or your father. But I suppose it doesn't matter now.
Tell me, Gran.
Your granddad's name was Heinz Ritter before he came to America. He changed it to Harrison Knight legally when he arrived.
Why did Granddad change his name?
I don't know. I tried to ask him about his family, his life before America, but he didn't want to talk about it. He never even told me about his name change. I found out one day when I saw his passport in a drawer. Since he obviously found it painful, I never questioned him about it. But I'm sure it wasn't trouble with the law. Your granddad was the best man I ever knew.
Didn't Granddad ever say anything about his past or his family?
Only that his family was crazy, and that he never wanted to see them again. He believed in some family curse, thought that he could spare Philip and Philip's children from what he called old nightmares. Whatever Harrison wanted to spare you, though, it cost him plenty. He never did sleep well, and he would often get a far-away, guilty look in his eyes. He was wrestling with something he thought he should be doing, someplace he thought he ought to be. I don't know how he could think that he should be anywhere but with me and our child. It's a terrible way to live.
Do you know anything else about Heinz Ritter?
I've told you all I know about your granddad's past.
So now we know that the guy who wrote the creepy poem in the bookstore was Granddad. I think I
Well, Gran, I
probably
better
don't
get
need
going.
to come back to Grandma's
All
anymore.
right, dear.
Unless I need to find some change in the cushions of the couch. Let's go to the police station.
Nice coat rack. It's an antique umbrella stand. The official seal of the New Orleans Police Department highlights the tile floor. The desk sergeant looked like a poster boy for heart disease. 30 extra pounds between his armpits and his belt, and a complexion of consistency of grey oatmeal. In other words, a typical product of good southern cooking.
She's not bad.
A uniformed officer of the New Orleans Police Department.
Let's actually be casual first.
Hey, nice precinct.
Think so? That's peachy. That means more to me than you could know. Hey, it's a beignet guy.
Great, I'm starved.
Beignets!
Stay put, you. Hey, grab me 3, would ya?
Sure.
The saga of beignets will be very important later on.
Thanks.
Got a second, officer?
What can I do you for?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Me? Nothing. I'm a Catholic boy.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I'm not allowed to give out information on police cases.
So, the voice of the desk sergeant is Jim Cummings, who was also the voice of Minsk in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and also probably best known as the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Are you sure you can't give me the scoop on the voodoo murders case?
Hey, buddy. Do I look like the kind of lowlife that'd betray my sacred oath to this department?
I don't know. What would that kind of lowlife look like?
Like hamburger meat if I got a hold of them. Kinda like what you're gonna look like in about 5 seconds.
Okay, sorry I asked. What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I'll tell you, I'm glad as hell it's not Mardi Gras. If it weren't for that 1 month a year, being a cop in New Orleans would be a real pleasure. As it is, I'd rather stick behind this desk.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Best food in the world. You can get it right here in New Orleans. Muffaletta sandwiches. Beignets. Good Cajun coffee. Yep. Man can die happy in this city.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Look, I love this city good as anybody, but I already gave you my opinion. Why don't you check out the Travel Bureau?
I will have to check that out, Moscow. Definitely. That sounds very amusing.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Bunch of crazies out there on St. John's Eve, that's what. We're busy all night.
Really? What kind of crazies?
Your usual howl at the mooners, I guess. They don't look no weirder than them that comes in during Mardi Gras. Never can tell, though.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I already told you. It's a busy night for us, pal. You want a history lesson? Go read a book.
Do you know what Cabri sans corps means?
Can't say that I do.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Can't say that I have, but it sounds dirty.
Tell me about yourself.
Who, me? I'm the Death Sergeant Frick. Why?
Frick?
That's right. You got a problem with that?
Not at all. Tell me about yourself.
You see that front door?
Yeah?
Well, I watch people come in. See this book?
Yeah?
Well, I write people's names in it, see? People that bother me. Want me to put your name in this book?
I think not.
That's what I thought.
He's such a pleasant fellow.
I'm here to see Detective Mosley.
He's out at a crime scene. Sorry.
Where is the crime scene? Is it related to the voodoo murders?
Crime scene information is police confidential. We don't need any more looky-loos than are probably already there.
Come on, you can tell me what the crime scene is.
Look, I know the paper's got everybody stirred up about these killings, but that don't make it public information. Back off.
So this is a new voodoo murder then?
Hey, I didn't say that. You'll read all about it in the papers tomorrow, I'm sure.
I was supposed to pick up some photos from Detective Mosley at the front desk.
Is that right? And who are you?
My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Yeah, I got something for you, all right. Soon as you're done talking, I'll give it to you.
That doesn't sound creepy at all. Not even a little.
Here's that envelope for you, Gabriel Knight.
Thanks.
Let's see what's in the envelope.
Gabriel opens the manila envelope and finds 2 photographs. The photograph of Mosley was apparently taken upon his graduation from the police academy. He had hair then.
Right, Aqua. It's just completely pleasant, innocent chatter.
One of the photos from Mosley is an official voodoo murders crime scene shot. A graphic close-up of a victim.
That was kind of important. So let's do a save. And now I think I'll go to the bar. Because we should always just go to a bar.
A street drummer has found a spot outside the Napoleon house. It's a bust of Napoleon. How apropos.
The street drummers are everywhere.
I'm growing fungus already. Shut up. You are a fungus.
The Napoleon House is one of the French Quarter's very old, very classic neighborhood bars and restaurants. Gabriel is found here frequently. An unhappy-looking man explores the dangers of drinking alone.
What's up?
Buddy, I think the place you're looking for is down on Bourbon.
A young man is deep into conversation with his girlfriend and feeling no pain. A young woman is enjoying drinks with her boyfriend.
Kinda cute.
Nah.
Gabriel is bit of a lech.
Gabriel's already created enough bad karma in this bar.
Gabriel will not pick up the girl.
Hi, how's it going?
It's been worse.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
It's good to find out everything we can about voodoo from the barman.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? I don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Laveau's Tomb, but it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I'm no expert. You might want to talk to someone who believes in it.
Yeah, Orc, I tend to think that maybe they're just too drunk to start a fight.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I'm no expert. You might want to talk to someone who believes in it.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
It's all over the papers. Some kind of serial killings.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Well, they say a lot of voodoo stuff is found near the bodies.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Everybody's talking about them. It's starting to scare off the tourists.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Everybody's talking.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Greatest city in the world. I'd never want to live anywhere else.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
This city must get 1 million tourists a year, especially around Mardi Gras.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
A lot of people come here because they think it's mysterious. All that talk about voodoo.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
You should probably find a book on the subject, you know.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
All I know is it's some kind of voodoo holiday.
Yes, Orc, I am East Coast time.
Does the phrase Cabri sans corps mean anything to you?
You know what goes in it?
I don't think it's a drink.
Oh, then I probably don't know anything about it.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Never heard of it.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
There you go, Orc. They fight sometimes. Sometimes they don't. We caught them on a good day.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They played every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time. By the way, Sam, the chess player, he's into that voodoo stuff. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Thanks. What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
I'd call you a regular, Gabe. And one of our local writer celebrities, too. Been coming in here, what, 10 years now?
Don't remind me.
We're still waiting for that bestseller.
Don't hold your breath. What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
That's about all I can say about this crowd.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say, enough already.
Sounds like my life. Tell me about the street musicians around here.
Don't know what else I could say.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodooine and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day, he went up and talked to the girl. And, sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife. Poor guy.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
That's about all I can remember.
Nothing like a good game of chess, huh?
Yeah, well, this isn't a good game. This is torture.
Oh, well. Have fun. So, having a good game?
I'm concentrating.
Fine. All right.
Alrighty. Fun times at the bar. And there's no better way to follow up a trip to the bar than with a trip to the cemetery.
Saint Louis Cemetery, number 1, is one of the most historic and beautiful places in the French Quarter. The marks are reddish in color and reminds Gabriel of crosses. They look like they've been here a few days at least.
These marks look important.
I want a copy of these strange marks.
Gabriel doesn't want to disturb that part of the cemetery. Near the Laveau tomb is a piece of red brick. Undoubtedly a cast-off from spiritual graffiti writers.
Always good to have a piece of red brick.
Vases seem to be a favorite decoration for the dead. This is the tomb of Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. Odd-looking marks adorn the Laveau tomb wall. This old tomb is in a sorry state of disrepair.
There's probably no one left in the family to maintain it.
A stone angel stands silently before a tomb.
Okay. Gonna have to make sure we all look at the angel. We don't want to turn our eyes from it, because that would be bad.
An old man tends the cemetery with movements akin to a slow drawl.
This fellow looks like he would know a lot about voodoo.
I'm sorry to bother you.
Yeah? What can I do for you?
You been working here a long time?
Longer than you've been alive, son. I mayhaps be here longer than you'll be alive, for that matter.
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Toussaint Gervais. I'm the watchman here at St. Louis number 1.
What exactly do you do here?
Oh, I keep the place tidy, but a big part of my job, too, is looking out for the grievers, you know. People come to pay their respects, and they need looking out for. Sometimes they so grief-bound they don't know what they doing.
Tell me about yourself.
That's about all there is to say.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
They say it was part of an old religion from Africa, brought here by slaves.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Ain't it just awful, them finding those bodies with voodoo things around them? I don't think there's any real voodoo going on. Somebody's trying to cover their tracks is all.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I told you all I know about that.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Seem like everybody want to visit New Orleans at least once in their lives, and they love the cemetery tour. I see tourists in here every day of the year.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
There's lots of things to see here, but none are as beautiful as the St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Hey, if you want to know more, you should ask somebody else.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
Why, St. John the Baptist is the patron saint of voodoo. Sometimes we get some weird goings-on in that cemetery on that night. More often a few nights before. People taking grave dirt, bones, and more.
That's pretty disgusting.
Yep. Don't know what they do with them, but it can't be pretty.
Thanks for the clip, Moscow. I will definitely check it out.
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I told you all I know about that.
Do you have any idea what Caprice Saint Coeur means?
No, can't say that I do.
I know you're watching Kiss and Hugs. I hope you're just enjoying the game, because that's kind of what I'm doing too.
Have you ever heard the word Schottenjäger?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
You know why the dead are buried in tombs and not in the ground?
Thanks, Orc.
The water table's too high. Them coffins would float right out of their graves. Them dead would go floating right down into the water. Course, if it were Mardi Gras, nobody'd even notice.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
It's a historical place. People buried in here from the Civil War and back further too. Take a look around, you'll see.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
Just look around. You get the feel of the place.
Alright. Thanks, Toussaint.
The Wright family tomb. Several of Gabriel and Grant's family members are laid to rest here. The marker reads, Mera Planta Wright.
These are Grand's folks. I never knew them.
The marker reads, Franklin Wright.
These are Grand's folks. I never knew them.
The marker reads, Harley Wright.
Grand's sister. She died young.
The marker reads, Harrison Knight.
Granddaddy.
The marker reads, Philip Knight.
Daddy.
The marker reads, Margaret Templeton Knight.
My mother.
Alright, let's talk to some dead people.
Hi. I'm Rebecca's grandson.
Much as when they were alive, the Wright elders give no response.
Hi. I'm Rebecca's grandson.
Much as when they were alive, the Wright elders give no response.
Grand talks a lot about you, Harley. How's it going, Granddaddy? How's it going, Granddaddy? Hey, Daddy. Miss you, Mom.
Nothing like a bit of uplifting talking to your dead parents. That right there is an impressive tomb.
The imposing tomb is elaborately labeled Gede. An angel draped dramatically over a stone plinth marks the entrance to a large tomb. 2 enormous vases flank the front of the Gede tomb. A stone angel leans down to gaze at something unseen.
Creepy. So now, I need to find out where the crime scene is. Not sure where the crime scene is, so maybe I'll just go to the park.
Good day, officer.
Yeah, to you too. Keep moving.
Nice, pleasant fellow.
Anyone seen Joe?
Could I ask you a few questions?
Not now, buddy. I'm busy.
I should have noticed that. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Hey, stop picking on me! I'll tell my dad!
Stupid mime. That's not how you spell square.
It's one of those mimes. Oh boy.
You white-faced geek! You want to eat my fist?
This is actually not my favorite part of the game. It wasn't too bad this time.
Hey, cut that out. I told you to stop that. All right, mister. You want some of this?
I mean, I had no idea that was going to happen when that mime started following me.
Gabriel picks up the headset and listens.
Ambulance 911, have you located the crime scene? They've radioed for you 3 times.
Ma'am, did you say it was north of the Lake Retreat Country Club?
South. Lakeside Drive north of Piedmont Pier, south of the country club.
Man, I don't know if it's the clouds out here today or what. Good thing this guy's already dead.
Everyone's having trouble. Must have been hallucinogens in the coffee this morning.
It's just so misty out here or something. Hey, I see a squad car. Got it, Molly.
Thank God. Have a good one, 911.
Interesting.
Stupid mime. Hey, you! Get away from that bike.
Sorry.
I was just looking at the bike, really. Don't mind me at all. Alright, now, I know where the crime scene is.
The crime scene team is still at the site. Gabriel parks a bit out of the way and walks over to avoid adding to the general confusion.
ghostly.
Huh? Knight, you wiener. I told you not to call me that.
Feeling jumpy?
Who, me? Don't be stupid. How'd you find me?
Oh, I was just driving by.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the book. But don't tell anyone I let you see this, huh? It's another one, as you can see. Same M.O. and no frickin' clues. We're still waiting on an ID for the body.
That's disgusting. Isn't this a rather, public area for this kind of thing?
Yeah, they're frickin' ghosts, these guys. Lakeshore Drive isn't exactly the 10 Expressway, but it is open to the public. No reports and nothing. Now, who the hell is that? Good day, Miss Getty.
What's going on, officer?
Detective Mosley, ma'am. We've got a little problem here, but nothing for you to be concerned about, Miss Getty.
I see. Thank you, detective. And good day, gentlemen.
Whoa, I'm in love.
Forget it. That's Malia Getty. She's about as far out of your reach as the moon. Probably on her way to meet some guy with a yacht right now.
Near here?
The lake's a popular place for country clubs.
If she's out here a lot, maybe she saw something or heard something.
Man, nobody ever sees or hears nothing. I told you. Besides, you just don't go around bothering people like her.
We've about wrapped it up, sir. It's another clean sweep.
Yeah, let's get the meat wagon moving then.
Do you want to leave an officer here, sir?
Nah, just leave the tape up for a few days.
Yes, sir. If you'll excuse us, sir, we'll take him away.
Stick around and take notes for the book if you want. Watch out for the muck and the water moccasins, though. I'll be back at the station. Stop by if you want to go over the case some more.
Thanks.
So yeah, our good friend Detective Mosley was voiced by the great Mark Hamill, as you could probably tell. They got a very, very good voice cast for this game.
Gabriel is on the sand and clay shore of Lake Pontchartrain, at the site where some poor bastard got to see who the voodoo murderers really are. The site is now deserted. Lake Pontchartrain is impressive. It measures 24 miles across and stretches as far as the eye can see. But you wouldn't want to swim in it. Out down the spot. Will these pristine banks ne'er be cleaned again?
'Cause why not get some Shakespeare in there?
There seems to be a pattern to the lines in the sand, but if there is a pattern, it's smeared. There's only one small area that's clearly defined.
Let me try to get this down.
Gabriel, the site. The banks of Lake Pontchartrain are rich with clay deposits.
Clay. I like clay. Maybe we'll play with some clay later on.
Yuck.
Patches of grass have managed to survive life on the banks of Lake Pontchartrain. The grass has a matted appearance there.
see if we can take a closer look.
There are marks in the grass as though some heavy wire object had been set there. Gabriel is already magnifying the grass. Gabriel is all... Something small and iridescent is barely visible among the indentations. It looks like a scale of some sort. Gabriel carefully uses the tweezers to take the small iridescent scale.
I think it's a snake scale, but it beats the hell out of me what kind.
Alright, I think that's about all I can learn from the crime scene. So I know I have to do some stuff at the police station now. It's coming up on 2 hours, which I know isn't a terribly long stream. But this is somewhat emotionally taxing. So I think I'm going to end it here because it's actually a good place to just pause. And just save over the police station. And next time I stream, we can pick up right where we left off. Spend a little time hanging with our good friend Detective Mosley. Tap that. Let's go here. Yes, it's a screen. And now we can just get rid of that. All right, so thanks everybody for hanging out. It was good to have you all here. I really appreciate all the support on my first stream. And I will let you all know when I'm going to pick up the game again. Right, I could do a raid. I could do a raid. Because that's a thing that people do. Alan's on, you say? Alan is on. Spidey's on. Yeah, let's go with Alan, because why not? Again, thanks everybody for showing up. Really appreciate the support. And yeah, let's check in on Alan playing Skyrim. As soon as I figure out how to do that. I think I can sort that out. There we go. Let's start a raid. My first raid. Ooh, it's a raid. Ooh.